Okay, this is Bob Peterson, home inspector here in Austin, Texas, up on a neighbor's 17-year-old asphalt composition roof, and we'll look at a few things here. Overall, the condition isn't bad. I'd call it typical for a 17-year-old 20-year 3-tab shingle. These are called 20-year shingles. They will last 20 years. Even here in Texas, up north, they'll do a little bit longer, but of course down here the UV really does deteriorate them. I'd say this one's in typical condition. We'll point out a few things here. Obviously the first problem we got here are the trees very close to the roof. We need to cut those back at least 5 feet. That allows the animals to get on the roof, and once they get on the roof they will get in the attic. And they're hard to get rid of once they get in the attic. Right down here by my ladder we see there's one missing shingle tab right there. Of course that's a minor repair. These are called 3-tab shingles because they have 3 tabs. Looking over here on the left side, there's a little bit of minor damage to the so-called ridge shingles, also called the ridge cap. And right here you can see there's some minor tree damage to the shingles where the limbs used to rub on the shingles. That's not too bad. Probably could use repair though. Speaking of animals, here we can see one of the shingles was torn away a little bit. This is classic evidence of animals trying to get into the attic by tearing up the shingles. Now this guy didn't succeed, but with a little more effort he could have easily gotten into the attic. There's one of the plumbing roof stacks. That one's in pretty good shape. The rubber boot around that PVC stack is still in good condition. Coming up, looking at the back side, we can see again a little more aging type deterioration to the ridge cap. Now this right here is somewhat unusual because we have approximately 1 square of shingles which are factory defects. 1 square equals 100 square feet, and it goes from right about there down to right about there. And they're not leaking, but they're not going to last as long as the others. In fact, that 1 square shingles is pretty much all the way worn out. Panning over here to the left, we have a couple more little areas of tree damage. Okay, minor, but you know, not good. Some more tree limbs, pretty close to the roof. There's our 4-inch furnace flue stack. All right. Coming over here, a few more trees. Let's see, this side looks pretty good. There's our, down there is our 3-inch water heater flue. Now right here is a problem we see fairly often here on these homes. That is the dryer exhaust vent. And I don't know if you can see this from the video, but there's some lint like hanging out from the top of that stack. What that tells me is that that lint vent is mostly clogged with lint, and that dryer is probably not drying real well. But if you just stick your hand up in there and pull that lint out, it'll start drying better. Okay, panning over here to the chimney. This is a frame and siding chimney. It's in pretty good shape, but I'm going to get down here under the tree limbs, and we're going to look at the little teeny cricket back behind that chimney. That's that sloped sheet metal flashing. You can see the leaves. The leaves are built up behind that chimney on that cricket, and this homeowner should be getting up here and cleaning those leaves off behind that chimney, because it's going to start rusting out that flashing, and it's going to start causing wood rot to the siding and the trim. Okay, this right here would be an air vent, an exhaust vent, probably coming off of a bathroom. And then we have the 3 little, what we call static vents on top of the roof that are letting the hot air out. Obviously these are critical on all roofs, but especially down here in Texas. And we also have another real good shot of those factory defective shingles right there. Those 15 or 20 shingles right there are in real bad shape. And again, this is a 17-year roof, 17-year-old roof, and these are 20-year shingles. Those should not look that bad. So those were not properly manufactured at the factory. By the way, these are called asphalt composition shingles because they have a mat of fiberglass, and the manufacturer lays a thin layer of asphalt over top the fiberglass, and then they put what looks like sand granules on top of the asphalt, and that protects the shingle from the destructive UV rays of the sun. So overall, this roof is not in horrible condition. It doesn't need repair. It doesn't need replacement, but it does need repair in a few areas, and we do need to get the trees trimmed back. And we can see a few little leaves building up here in the valley. That's not bad. When you have a real steep roof, the leaves don't build up too fast, but we don't want any buildup at all because water can dam up behind those leaves and cause a leak in the valley. So overall, this roof isn't too shabby. It's going to need replacement in a few years. It does need immediate repair, minor repair in a few areas. But this is just a good example of what home inspectors look for. This roof isn't too steep. I'll pan over to my roof right there, which is next door, and you can see that one there is pretty steep. And a lot of home inspectors will probably not get on my roof because it is so steep. And they'll inspect it from the ground with binoculars, which isn't as effective as getting on the roof, but it's better than no inspection at all. So this is Bob Peterson, Austin, Texas home inspector, signing off. And next month we'll look at some other things around the home. Have a good day. Bye-bye.